your Saturday breakfast show. But before then, I'm joined live in the studio by Paul Britton, who is a leading criminal defence lawyer and founder of Britain and Time. He is going through the papers for us this morning, but we are going to very shortly be joined by Dr. Roger Gievold as well, who is a personal finance expert and CEO of Fair Money. Now, the reason why I tell you that is because I am hopeful that Dr. Roger will agree to take some of your calls and your concerns. If you want to join in the conversation, I'm asking you this morning, how prepared are you for the energy price cap increase that we are about to experience? So if you would like to put your thoughts across to Roger, I'm perfectly sure that he would like to answer some of your concerns. 0344 499 1000. It is time to say a very good morning to not only Paul Britton, but Dr. Roger Gievold, who both join me now. Well, Dr. Roger, good morning to you.
Good morning, Phil.
Thank you very much indeed, again, for joining us. Now, Dr. Roger, as you know, I am well aware that you are a font of knowledge when it comes to most things personal finance, but this must be fairly unprecedented even by your experience.
Yes, unprecedented, but of course not unexpected. However, the predictions are, although we've gone to close to 3,600 pounds a year now, predictions from some are actually that by January we will go to 5,000 pounds a year. And by April, we will go to 6,000 pounds a year. It's really quite ridiculous. And I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about it because this is due to the shortage of oil and gas, the cutting off of supplies by President Putin. And there's not much we can do about that. But I do think that we're losing focus terribly in that what we're doing is raising interest rates and crippling people at a time like this, which I and a lot of others find absolutely insane. Inflation is to be curbed by raising interest rates when consumers are spending too much. And here, of course, everybody's cutting back. So it's a really crazy situation. The more that we raise interest rates, the more it's going to be exacerbated. The more millions of people are going to lose their homes. The more millions of generation rent, young people who can't afford to buy won't even be able to rent. Some rents are shooting up by as much as 40%. So, it is totally unprecedented.
It just feels as though there's no end in sight to the doom and gloom. And I can't help but wonder, and I bring Paul in on this discussion as well, who's live in the studio as well. Paul meet Dr. Roger, Dr. Roger meet Paul. But one thing that I can't help but feel is that no one thinks of what happens when we reach critical mass. And that will happen. It's bound to happen, that there's going to be a point in time where the vast majority of people in this country say, first and foremost, no more. And secondly, we can't afford this. Actually can't afford to do this anymore. So what happens then?
Well, it's a pretty serious situation. I mean, Gordon Brown, Martin Lewis, many people have warned that we are indeed heading for a catastrophe. But it just seems that, the people who count aren't listening. Boris has been described by Sir Kier Starmer as missing in action. And Nadim Zahawi, the for now Chancellor, said yesterday,
nicely
incredibly... Sorry? Yeah.
Nicely put, yes. The for now Chancellor.
He said yesterday that he knows that the government, quote, he knows that the government must do something, unquote. I mean, but that's all he's giving us. What a way to run a country.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what more to say other than it's just horrendous. It's just absolutely horrific. And I don't actually know sort of what can be said, because it all feels like we're just powerless to do anything.
And the help they have been given has just been insufficient, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, the thing is, we do seem powerless to do anything, but there are some things that could be done. I, and I'm not alone, have been banging on about them for months, and it's just, nothing happens. The politicians don't say anything concrete or significant. We're just listening to a lot of waffle from Liz and Rishi, to the point where apparently many people now wish that Boris hadn't left. I mean, we've wrecked our government. We're wrecking our economy. The problem, Phil, is,
to be fair, the government did a pretty good job of wrecking themselves, but yes.
Well, yeah, okay. But, you know, this Prime Minister of Finland, Sanna Marin, the party-loving 36-year-old lady who had two of her friends standing topless behind her desk. I mean, some people have said to me, well, that beats Boris with a sandwich and a beer at an office party, but are they going to wreck their government and their economy? I mean, who knows? Anyway, the point is, Phil, that President Putin, I don't think we even know the extent of his plan yet and how much trouble he's going to do. The more we impose sanctions, the less he's going to supply oil and gas. And of course, it will come to the point where even if Europe keeps buying oil and gas from him, he may turn around one day as part of his plan and say, sorry, I'm not selling you anymore. So we can't, as you say, do anything about the oil and gas prices, but we can do other things.
Yeah. Well, look, I think that let's talk about those other things, because actually, is there any of the onus on the consumer themselves, Roger? What could we as consumers be doing to help ourselves? Have you got any advice?
Yeah, not a lot, really. I mean, this is down to the government. There's some basic things I think consumers can do. Number one, you've all heard, turn off all your appliances at the wall, at the mains, you know, turn off the telly, turn off the computers. These things actually burn energy. I'm talking to you from an Apple iPad. I know that at night, if I leave it plugged into the wall, even with the iPad turned off, there's a little green light keeps glowing on the cord. There's zillions of things like this that use up electricity. All sorts of little tips of how to save things. All of us have got accounts with our energy suppliers. You know, we pay £2 a month for cover in case, you know, mice eat the wires. We pay £1 a month. There's all these extras. Get rid of them because they mount up.
Do you know, actually, I was thinking, you were saying about charging overnight. That's actually a really important point, because a lot of people, I feel, charge their devices overnight so they don't have the inconvenience of waiting for it to be charged during the day. But actually, by doing that, charging a device more often than not in this day and age only takes a couple of hours. Most devices are rapid charge. And rapid charge compared to what they used to be, let's put it that way. And to leave a device on for, well, I think what most normal people, I can't talk, get about 6 hours sleep. I think I'm lucky if I get 3, but most people get about 6 hours sleep to 8 hours. You're leaving the device plugged in for all that time. That's about an additional maybe 3 to 5 hours of unnecessary electricity.
Well, and your telly also. I mean, even more than that. I mean, just go around the house. You'll find dozens and dozens and dozens of things that are plugged in that don't need to be. It's a real pain to, as you say, get up in the morning, go around and put all the plugs back in. But it does make a difference. There are a lot of other tricks like that. But I mean, I think the biggest thing right now that people can do is that some energy companies are actually increasing people's monthly direct debits in order to, quote unquote, protect them, so that they build up balances now, and they will therefore have positive balances when the charges go up. And some of the companies aren't even discussing this with the customers, aren't even telling them about it. So Ofgem, the energy regulator, for example, has given half a dozen companies, for starters, several weeks warning to clean up their act. They have gone and raised customers' direct debits without even telling them about it. So one of the things you can do, which probably saves an awful lot more money than just your telly draining from the wall mains, is look at your bank statement. And if your direct debit has increased, and by the way, you know, they're building up a positive balance as if they were your bank and not paying you any interest on it. They're making the money. They have trillions. I once found a couple of £1,000 in my energy account. If you Google my name, Gewolb, Gewolb, and the words direct debit, you'll see a video I made some time ago about how this all works and what to do about it. The point is, the biggest thing you can do as a consumer right now is make sure you're not being charged a penny more every month, draining your bank account.
Yeah, it's almost, but Roger, it's almost worth, I would say, paying as you go along. The direct debits are all in good.
That's what I'm recommending.
Yeah.
Leave your direct debit in place, but every month that they collect something that they shouldn't, move it back. In other words, the direct debit is up to you, not to them. You're in charge of it.
Roger, I tell you what we'll do is hold that thought for us. If you stay with us, and Paul, you as well, stick with us so that after the break we carry on this conversation. But I assume that you'll be happy for people to call up as well and maybe ask you a question or two, Roger, if that's all right. So 0344.
Absolutely.
Excellent. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Get your thoughts on the air. How prepared are you for the energy price cap increase? We will take your thoughts and your questions to Dr. Roger Girob, and Paul Britton is also here as well, joining in the conversation. This is Talk TV, live from the Talk Radio studios.